What's up, y'all? Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is. Preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going? I'm the Celtic Warrior, Sheamus.
Wardlow here.
Soda.
I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Welcome to the dive bar of the IWC. Welcome to Wrestling on the Rocks, episode 1. Again! Thank you, Marv, for the lovely introduction and the melodious flatulence. With me today to talk wrestling in the dive bar of the IWC. Pow! We got Bishop and we got Clumped.
Oh,
Yeah. Happy Christmas, everybody.
Happy
Like
Christmas.
all the decorations everywhere.
Merry holidays and all that stuff. I brought a little friend with me today. A little fiend on the scene. He's my associated tree topper. I figure in honor of the legend himself, he will stay out from now on. No longer waits till Christmas. But he's my tree topper this year. And then after that, the fiend will always be on the scene. So, but cheers, brother. Thanks for having me at TW Takes Podcast on X/Twitter, twtakes.podcast.com for all platforms.
It was so weird for a little brief moment there in one of the seasons. They had that Bray Wyatt Fiend topper, but they also came out with a Funko Pop that had the Fiend in like a Santa hat and like I think a sweater. And it was just so weird to me at the time. I mean, I loved it, but it was so weird to be all like, it's Christmas time. We need more Fiend stuff that's thematic. It's like, what?
But it works.
Yeah.
Dude, I even got my Lily on the Ledge t-shirt going. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God. I didn't
Not
know
only
they
is Fiend
did
on the
that.
scene, but Lily's on the ledge, bro.
I did not know they did a Lily on the Ledge. See, they did so much Christmas stuff for that. They did. I just read something a minute ago. WWE did a Legends contract for Bray for his family, so
I heard that
they can kind of keep monetizing stuff and give money to the family through that. You know,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, hell, why wouldn't you? Especially given who his wife is and her history with the company. Why would you not just be like, hey guys, here's a little bit of money for the rest of your guys' life. You know, here's some guaranteed something because were they not quite married?
No.
Yeah.
She posted on the anniversary they were supposed to get married this year.
Yeah, see, I was confused by that post. She said this was going to be the day we were going to get married or something like that, and I didn't know.
Yeah, they hadn't been
I
married.
didn't realize they weren't married. So, yeah, so they did Legends contract there. So that was, I don't know, man, crazy, really cool. I'm excited to see what kind of Legend stuff they do with him. To be honest, I don't think they're just going to let it sit. He was just too beloved and too easy to monetize in a real basic form, right? His characters were all so visually identifiable and I mean almost like bold, you know. I don't even mean monetize in a weird corporate way. I mean in like for the family kind of a way. Like, hey, we could, and people want it. I want to buy more Fiend stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I said that you know, when he did pass and basically his merch was sold out, I was just like, please make more so I can help honor the legacy and, you know, in tune support the family. You know, no offense, I don't want to just give JoJo a check. I would like to buy merch though, so I can celebrate too, you know.
Yeah.
Do you think he's going to be in the Hall of Fame this year?
I think you've got to, right? I think you put him in the Hall of Fame right away.
Yeah, I had that conversation earlier because it's in Philly this year and I can go. But I was like, do I want to go? Because it's quite possible, like, one of the last times we'll ever hear his song again played over the Jumbotron. But, like, could I sit through that? You know? I cried for, like, 3 days, like, nonstop. And then, of course, every retrospective they did of him, it just brought me to tears. Like, he was so precious to watching wrestling now. Like, it would be awesome to go see his music live one more time. But fuck, I don't know if I can sit through it.
It'll be hard, but I think if you can.
Especially given your connection to Philly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you were there at Extreme Rules when he
came back. Yeah.
When he came back. The whole White Rabbit thing. So
also saw him there when Luke Harper tore his ACL in a post-show dark match. It was in a triple threat against non-Shield Roman Roman and the Usos, I think it was, before the Bloodline. But his song, I mean, you guys have seen him live, correct?
Yeah.
So when the song hits and then everyone puts their flashlights up, oh, chills. It's so eerie. But
his first run with the Fiend, they were doing the live shows, setting up for the Hell in a Cell with Seth, and they came through town, and it was a live show. And the main event was Fiend and Seth, and it was one of those things. Seth was the champion, right? So it was a championship match. Like, how are they going to get out of this, right? Obviously, they're not going to change the title here. And he ended up doing the mandible claw on the turnbuckle, so they counted him out for not breaking off the ropes. But we made those the plates. If you remember in the thing, it was a little plate with a little sketch of the Fiend mask, and he would hold it over his face. And we made those, and we were like front row holding him up, and like he kind of glanced over when he was walking out. Like, that was our first time seeing Fiend live. It was fucking cool, dude.
Legend.
What's going on? What's in your glass? What are you drinking? Clump, I saw you there with a little stogie. What you got there?
I got a Tatiana, just the chocolate flavored.
Chocolate
and then
Tatiana.
Voodoo Ranger.
Voodoo Ranger?
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it.
Is that an NA or an IPA?
It's an IPA. I strongly wouldn't recommend it.
All right. Yeah, I don't like it a lot. So
it tastes like feet.
Yeah, that's not one of my.
And not in a good way.
Like Nia Jax's feet.
Oh, Beef Planet feet.
Beef Planet feet.
Bishop, what are you drinking?
I got a little eggnog cocktail. I'm in the season spirit, man. A little Jim Beam Black, some nutmeg, some eggnog. Cheers.
I don't know, man.
Am I wrong for that? Am I wrong for that?
Clump's got all his decorations up. We've put up our one stocking.
Yeah, I'm coming to you guys from a Scandinavian prison.
Yeah. I got vodka and sparkling water. I didn't even think about trying to make
a 22-year-old girl?
It's like champagne anyway.
Yeah.
Sorority champagne, man.
Oh, yeah, dude. It's Sam's Club Sangria. But yeah, I mean, well, we're here to talk wrestling. I don't have any other news stuff. I was going through some of them, and I saw just the lamest of headlines, things that were like, "Oh, MGF comments on this," and you read it, and it's all like, "He says too many words for not enough stuff." So I mean, I just don't. I think the big thing that everyone's talking about right now is TV deals, TV rights. I think it's a little out of our wheelhouse. But I will say it's fascinating to see how it's going to play out. Just knowing what's up in the air and all the players, that to me is already the most interesting part of it. Not speculation on where this one might go or that one goes, just where they actually land. Like when SmackDown was called over to USA, when NXT was called up over to CW, it was like, this is interesting. We'll see how that kind of plays through. Hulu's supposed to lose their contract with WWE. I'm just super excited about that because Hulu sucks. But I'm curious because I do feel like the USA already is not as easy for me to stream as a lot of other channels.
Well, isn't it like it's on Peacock eventually? Hopefully, with
A month
this,
later.
Well, hopefully with this change, maybe they'll be more immediate about it because they've been getting better. I mean, it makes no sense to do that month out thing. I thought that was part of the Hulu arrangement.
That's what I thought too. So that's what I'm hoping with this Hulu being dumped, that more stuff will show up on Peacock the next day because NXT's been showing up on Peacock the next day, but Raw and SmackDown wouldn't. But Hulu, because I thought I had to do with the Hulu deal, but then Hulu also had NXT, but they also edit out over half of Raw and a third of SmackDown to make it fit the way they want it to. And it's superfluous what they remove and what they keep. So yeah, I'm more excited about the potential of stuff being utilized through Peacock more than anything else. But I guess we're just gonna see how it plays out, man. Might have to start watching things through shady sites.
I mean, that's what I do now. I mean, looking at the CW, they're owned by Nexstar Media Group, 75%, and the other 25 is Paramount and Warner Brothers Discovery. So that cuts them out of Peacock completely. Unless Nexstar owns NBC Universal, which I doubt.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I do wonder, like, what's exclusivity going to look like at that point, you know? Can it show up on Peacock the next day if Hulu doesn't have some sort of weird strong arm on it, you know? Or does it, like with NBC Universal now, my profile allows me to log into the USA app. It allows me to stream live sometimes, but not all channels. And some shows I can watch the replay and some shows I can't. And it's just, I believe, having to do with some of these other contracts. And so I'm just excited for this shit to be done with so we can see what we're looking at, you know? Like, what is it going to look like? And who knows? And to be honest, I don't care if one of them goes out of business, man. If AEW loses everything, I don't care. I know everyone wants me to care and says, oh, you have to care. But I don't, because I don't watch it. I don't enjoy it. I don't pay attention to it. If it disappeared, I wouldn't think twice. I didn't even know Impact was still around. For 20 years, I didn't know it was still around. And all of a sudden, it was back. And I was like, oh, shit.
Here we go.
They can do the same thing. Yeah. Do the same thing. Go to Twitch. I don't care. You know? But,
well, I think the whole AEW thing, we've talked about this ad nauseum, right? Their whole business model isn't really a fucking business model. So they're not in it to make money. I was listening to a podcast earlier today, and it just reminded me of some shit I said fucking 2 years ago. Like, these guys make so much money. If they lose money, it's just a tax write-off for their overall business. Like, it's not like they're really losing money because they're not operating for profit. They're operating to make the losses so they get the tax breaks. Like, it's not, they don't care. And as much as people think that they do, it just doesn't add up because they're not trying, you know? So like you said, if they're off of TV, then fuck it. What do I care? You know, I would rather get 5 million consistent viewers on Twitch during their shows than even worry about being on TV, you know?
Yeah.
It does feel like it's the passion project of a very rich kid. And it feels like that more and more, like with bookings, with the roster, it kind of feels like UWF.
Yeah, feels a lot like UWF. Yeah. And I've been covering UWF a lot with John on Pro Wrestling Spotlight. We just got through, we're just finishing up 94 right now. And we just finished the big reboot that UWF did, where all of a sudden he hadn't been around for a couple of years, and then Herb Abrams gets a fucking like pay-per-view deal that's streaming on some big ESPN like channel, and it was just nuts. He just popped up all of a sudden because money talks, and would do a big crazy thing and then just disappear again. And I know, like, and I get it. Go ahead.
Is that when he did like the 200-person pay-per-view at
Vegas?
Yeah.
Yep. That's the one. What was it? Brawl at the beach, or beach brawl, or something stupid like that. It was a weird name for being at Vegas. But yeah, and I don't want to. It's not like I do feel like there's this weird onus that fans are putting on other fans to care about certain things that's just kind of not our business.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't want someone to lose their job, but at the same time, I don't care if most people lose their job. Right? Like, it's not my responsibility to care that everyone keeps the single job they have. You can find another job, hopefully, right? And I do think massive layoffs is horrible and shitty, and it sucks for those people. But there's a certain level where it's all like, I'm just watching a TV show, guys. Like,
Yeah.
I haven't watched
Right.
Adam Cole in like 5 years. If he stopped doing what he does, I wouldn't notice and I wouldn't care. And I don't mean
Right.
that in that I wish him ill, but I do mean that if he suddenly AEW goes out of business and they can't pay Adam Cole, if he's not able to feed his family all of a sudden, like people want to pretend is the thing, then he's stupid. Anyone who we've been seeing on any of these shows for multiple years, if we're really concerned about their ability to feed their family if they get laid off, is a weird onus on us to care if they're responsible, because you made too much money to not be able to be secure. No, they're not all millionaires, but they were all secure for a while. You know?
And the onus also feels like, well, as a WWE fan, you're supposed to be you're supposed to be supporting AEW because you want wrestling to be bigger and larger, but there isn't an onus on AEW fans to be supportive of WWE.
That's true too. That doesn't go both ways. You're right. It's the, hey, if you're a WWE fan, you have to want AEW to succeed. And if it's if you're a big AEW fan, fuck Vince McMahon, am I right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and who knows? Sometimes when they've moved around, I mean, I do think it's fucking bizarre that they've said that Monday Night Raw might not stay on Monday nights. At this point, they've branded it as Raw and gotten away from Monday night as a branding in case they have to move to a different day. Can you imagine if after all this time, Raw's not on Monday anymore?
Yeah, I mean, Thursday night Thursday, right? Or Thursday Raw Thursday, and Tuesday night Raw, and whatever. I mean, I hear you, but at the end of the day, we're just gonna see what to watch. I mean, I don't know. Just like AEW being in or out of business doesn't matter, right? Like, if it's not on Monday night, then I'll watch something else. If it's on, you know, I don't know. If Dynamite was on Thursdays, would I watch it? Probably not, but there's a better chance because I'm already watching something on Wednesday. You know what I mean? Like, so,
Well,
but you know, so like, yeah, if it frees up my Monday, then I'll just watch it on Tuesday, and then I'll watch NXT on Wednesday. Like, it's not that big a deal to me. I get what you're saying for the legacy of it, but you know, it's also aired on other nights before.
Raw.
I wonder how much.
Yeah, they've aired on Thursday and Tuesday, and
No, SmackDown did. SmackDown popped around.
I'm talking back in the 90s, bruh. Like 30 years ago, bruh.
What are you talking about? It was
happened.
on Monday all the time.
There are episodes that have aired on different days. I guarantee it.
You're a fucking liar, dude.
Dude, I don't lie.
Fucking liar.
Dude, see this? This means I don't lie.
Clump, is Bishop full of shit right now?
Mommy, daddy, quit fighting.
Right.
Okay.
Right, Clump, what were you going to say? What were you going to say, Clump?
I also, like, I mean, I was going to say, I think of it as a positive because it can go anywhere else, but also, like, maybe Mondays aren't the best slot for it. You know, yeah, it's consistent, but maybe putting it on a Friday, you know, and making it like an event, like this Friday night, you know what I mean?
Can you imagine if they put Raw exactly where SmackDown is and it does double the numbers immediately? Like, it would just, for my pettiness, I would think it'd be funny.
I'd like to be the lead-in for SNL.
Dude, that would be fucking sick.
How many times have you go to turn on SNL and it's the episode from the week before, and then it's the news, and it's like, oh yeah, I guess SNL's starting now. If it was Raw, or SmackDown. That'll work.
Yeah, exactly.
Good point. It's a good
I just
point,
wanted
yeah.
all to stream in one place. I swear and everything. When I got back into wrestling and I got the WWE Network, I canceled my cable and all that shit. I turned on the WWE Network at 8 o'clock and Raw wasn't on. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Just put it all in one place. You
That's
know,
what I
sign a
thought was
deal
going to
with-
happen with Peacock.
Yeah. Sign a deal with Disney and just put everything right on ESPN Plus. I'll sign up for it. $8 a month.
If there's one thing the Peacock deal has shown us over the years, it's fuck us anyways, right? For watching,
Right?
you know, like that's kind of their bag anyways. Is they're just like,
Yep.
fuck you for watching. You'll find it if you find it, and if not, fuck off. And you're kind of like, dude, I just want to watch it. Like I thought the whole deal was we were gonna get it all in one place, and I could always watch it. And they're like, no, matter of fact, we're gonna split it up more, bitches.
Make it harder.
And we're gonna edit it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we might flip flop days.
Yeah.
Just in time coming through. Cheers to Just in Time.
Cheers.
He still needs to figure out his shit, man. He's got to get his shit together so he can come on the show and drink with us. We got Hard Mountain Dews out there, dude. Been trying to get him on here having a Hard Mountain Dew for ages. That's how old I am. I say ages.
Yeah, you're really showing your ages.
Oh my god. It's weird. I just felt like I had like a hair up my ass because I feel like so many podcasts I've been listening to have been really preachy about what I have to like and who to like. And I was like, I don't mind if you tell me what you like, but it's weird to be like, if you don't like this, you don't like XYZ. And you're like, no, you can also just not like a thing or think something's bad or stupid or not like the same like gimmick. You know what I mean? Like the fuck.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. If you don't like this comedian, you don't like comedy at all. No, it's not true.
Yeah.
Right.
You just don't like that comedian. Like, fine. Although there's a list of people I just wish would never work again in the wrestling business. I swear to God.
There's a list
Like
of people
who?
I wish would work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just in time, bringing the facts. SmackDown has been on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays at one point. You're goddamn right. Just in time.
Yes, they have consistently.
Yeah,
I'm saying Raw
consistently.
has done one-offs on other nights.
No one knows what you're talking about, dude.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Guess
Was
I
her
gotta
name?
go to the Google machine.
Yeah, you got to Google that shit. Ask Jeeves. Ask
Dude, I
Jeeves
used
the
to
last
love-
time Monday Night
Ask
Raw was
Jeeves.
not on Monday.
Ashley's had all the cheat codes to video games.
Dude,
Every
Ask
time I
Jeeves
asked him,
is a
he'd get-
professional Googler.
Dude, he was the best.
Yeah, he's
He was
badass.
the best.
Well, I mean, I guess we can move along to the topics of the show, talk a little bit of the wrestling stuff, because I thought this week was actually pretty exciting overall. I was digging a lot of stuff. You guys want to talk a little? You guys want to talk a little SmackDown?
Let's do it.
Yeah,
Let's
a little.
smack it down.
Let's do a little cheers to Fans First Sports Network for bringing you, another Dive Bar episode. Just Time says, still don't have those Hard Mountain Dews in New York, which is lame, and everywhere I look for them, they don't deliver here. That can't be fucking true.
It might be illegal in New York. It might be illegal in New York because I know that they have like weird rules with like caffeine and alcohol.
That is true. I think they were the first ones to outlaw Four Loko.
Yeah. And now they got soft for loco, which doesn't make you angry.
It's Dos Loco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Half the loco. I see what you did
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I don't even speak Spanish. I got that shit
50%
right.
less Loco.
You guys ever have Sparks? It was an
Oh.
orange energy drink.
Yeah, those are interesting. Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah. I
Those
could
were
do
big for
one,
a
but
while.
if I did two, night, I would fucking black out, not remember shit.
Yeah.
Real bad. Yeah. One of them was good, and then I could drink my regular stuff. But if I had two and drank my regular stuff, it was no good. Yeah,
Yeah, so I think Sparks is gone now. I don't think people still make Sparks.
I don't think so either.
I used to work for the distributor for Sparks. That shit was crazy.
Jesus.
Let's see. So SmackDown, December 15th, 2023. Like this is also the what we're covering today is like the end of the live shows, I think, for the rest of the year, right? Like I think
Mhm.
we're gonna get some sort of pre-tape thing, and then they're gonna do I don't even think it's like a pre-tape episode. I think it's kind of like what they did the last couple years where it was like a best of. Or remember it was like hosted by Becky and Corey Graves or some shit.
Weird.
Yeah, I think Rosenberg is doing it this year.
Ah,
Yeah.
No.
Just the best of. Be all right.
Yeah, but fucking how does Rosenberg wouldn't even? He's not
Why? 'Cause
qualified.
It's
to
because
talk
Sam
about the
does
best of.
everything else. Sorry, you don't get another 12 hours of Sam Roberts.
What do you mean Sam does everything else? He does the kickoffs. I guess he does all those Ultimate shows, which is better fitting for him than Rosenberg. Rosenberg is just the worst. Oh my god.
Word on the street, he doesn't fucking like you either.
Yeah, dude, we'll fight. Open up with Roman. Roman's back. He the ones. And what are you guys feeling about Roman right now? And the bloodline.
I feel okay with it. Like, they're making him important, which cool. They're making they're making Solo and Jimmy a secondary important like element too. That said, it does feel like it's gone on just a note too long.
Mhm.
Like, I'm kind of tired of not seeing the belt on the show. And it feels plenty important. So I think it's the perfect time for it to go off of him. You know?
Yeah. I feel like the Roman character is totally cold for me right now. He's super predictable. The way he talks has gotten pretty formulaic. His big swerves you can see 1,000 miles away now because he just sets him up the same way every time. The whole more or less saying who the next tribal prince is, chief's going to be, the tribal prince, and he says Jimmy, welcome me, and saying congrats to Solo more or less, and it's like we know that the first person he's talking to is never who he's talking to.
Yeah.
He just doesn't do that. And we know that he's going to lead someone on to then say, it's this guy, boom. Like, he does that every time. So, like, at this point, it's not interesting. Like, Orton coming out was cool because it was all like, okay, now we can do something. Now we can get somewhere. But it feels like a lot of what Roman's saying to me feels like static.
Well, and the amount of times Roman talks and Paul Heyman sits there and I would really love your mouthpiece to talk for you for a little bit more. Not just when you're on nights off, because he's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even Paul Heyman's gonna have to pull stuff out of thin air, because I agree in the sense that we haven't seen any evolution is because what built the character hasn't happened, right? The reason why Roman was so, high up, undeniable, because every single week there was a new fold, new layer, new development, strengthening. Then it solidified, and now it's just been resting in this place. When he does come back, though, there is a sense of that he is important. So I do like that.
Mm-hmm.
But to Marsh's point, the predictability makes it go, okay, well, what's next? Because we've seen this already. So I am 50-50 now, but it's just because we don't see him enough. And I don't know if that's a title needs to leave, so the title's there, or he just needs to show up more often.
But then when he shows up, it only feels important on face value. Oh, Roman's going to be here. We don't usually get to see him. I better watch it. But then when you're watching, you're going, I don't know why I'm watching this.
Right.
Like, this is nothing.
If he was here for 5-6 weeks in a row, telling the stories, doing the Sammy stuff, doing the Jay stuff, now doing that with Jimmy and Solo or Paul Heyman or Randy, whatever, if he's building that week after week, it's going to feel more important because when he did that before, that's what made him this tribal chief because he was doing it consistently. Unless you just think there's no gas left in the tank.
That's what I think.
Okay.
I think that we're in a holding pattern. I think that they have dates in mind for when things are meant to occur, and they just need to get to those dates. And a lot of what the Blood is doing is getting to those dates where it was kind of like sped up and going at like a train for a while there. And now it's like, well, we didn't have anything in mind except for the next date. So if we keep them off TV for 3 months and then pop them on there for just 10 minutes, we can kind of keep the gaslight going. But there's nowhere for the story to go. We're not going anywhere necessarily. And when we get to the point where they're going to be going somewhere, that's going to be fast. That's going to be like a Rumble to Mania thing where now boom, 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 boom. Here's the story we wanted to tell. I think they just have nothing.
The story they're developing of the split between them with Jimmy and Solo, like what they're doing is they're setting this up so this could be done without Roman present. Like you can just do the story totally independent of Roman, so he can be out for more, and then further that idea of him being special.
I mean, I guess it's a chicken of the egg conversation at this point. Like, because I don't disagree with any of that. I think for me, I guess it's just my hunch is they're doing those things because they have nothing. And so, like, well, if we have Jimmy and Solo inch along and we keep Roman out of it, then it doesn't have to move along very fast. We can just slow it way down. And then when Roman shows up, he'll just wave and smile to the babies. And then everyone will be like, oh, yeah, Roman's still the top guy. That's cool. You know what I mean? But that's all it feels like because he comes out and go, oh, that's cool. I will say Orton coming out felt fucking cool. And that's what we'll get into about it. Because I, as much as I like it all, Justin Time says Roman coming back used to make the show feel bigger, but all the luster is gone. And I think that this promo to me solidified the luster is gone because this promo of Roman before Randy came out felt like nothing. Right. Felt like complete static. And that's what I meant by like, you say, you know, if he week, well, I just think you'd have more nothing every week. If he doesn't show up for 3 months and he comes in and shows you nothing, it's deflating because you go, I waited for that. Think about CM Punk's first promo back. The promos afterwards have been decent. You know, the one with Seth felt like going somewhere, right? But that first
he didn't talk.
But that first one he came back for was deflating for everyone I know who likes Punk and everyone I know who doesn't like Punk. We all were waiting to be like, what's this Punk going to look like? And then what we got, we went, this is why did I fucking wait for this? The next ones you go, okay, I guess we're going somewhere now. But you don't want to deflate the room to start lifting up the fucking expectation. You know, just meet an expectation. And so for this, Roman coming in and just being that flat, I was like, oh, so I guess when he shows up, it might not matter. You know? And that
I think
cool.
I think what happened is he perfected this character. I mean, I don't want to say too soon because it's been 3 years, but he's perfected this character already. So that, to your point, the gas is empty. The stock is high. It was as high as it was. This is it. There is no more growth to go. This character's fully matured. I can see that. And that's why, I thought you were going to say Randy coming out was awesome because he listens to the show. Yeah. And he heard me, say what I said because he said it on TV,
Yeah, he said it right out. Randy comes out. He says that you've made yourself into a legend. Dude, and Randy's having so much fun still.
Yes.
Like, I guess him working with Riddle kind of reignited some stuff, but I think that injury and then not being sure if he came back just doubled that. You know what I mean? Because you can tell he's having so much fun doing this and he's doing it really fucking well. But yeah, I mean, that was the whole crux of that promo, right? Did I miss anything outside of that? Roman, I'm coming for you. You're a legend and I'm a legend killer. And then, they kind of tussled a little bit.
I also wonder, truthfully, I feel like the high watermark for Roman was WrestleMania last year, and it should have dropped off of him to Cody. That would have been great in so many ways. But this storyline could have continued without a belt, because Roman, it has had a legendary reign. He's had a legendary career. Randy coming back in, it could still be that, and I think it would have more stake-wise without a belt, because unfortunately I don't see them putting it on Randy.
So I'm 50-50 on that. I agree with you if this didn't have a belt, I'm already seeing Roman back to that vulnerable state, right? The thing he has to hold on tangibly is that legend status. And who's the only person that can take legend status away from him, right? It's Randy. So that vulnerability he had in the very beginning of Tribal Chief, he can't lose this title because the belt means everything. The chief status means everything. It provides for blah, 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 right? All that shit that actually built this legend. But if he has to transition from chief to legend and then be killed by the legend killer. I actually like that story a lot better than Randy going after the title. But because I said it last week, I believe on episode 1, that if Randy comes out and calls him the legend, I'm the legend killer, that's the way to get the belt off of Roman. My problem is it's too soon. because Roman hasn't wrestled since SummerSlam. He would have to go out, whoop someone's ass real quick, give somebody else the business at Royal Rumble, to when Randy can now say, okay, this is what you do. Well, I'm back. I'm ready to go. I want it now. And because the first match back for both of them, it just doesn't feel right. I don't know.
No.
Yeah. Just Time says after SummerSlam, you could feel the tank running empty and not really telling anything with the rest of the Bloodline doesn't help. Yeah, because they're inching that along too. And I love Jimmy. I think Jimmy's awesome. And I love Solo too, if I'm honest. I think they're all great. It's just that this story has lost all of its steam and the point of it all. Like, so I was having this conversation with some folks over the weekend, and I want to know what your guys' take on this with this Roman thing. We keep talking about Tribal Chief. He was head of the table. He's GOAT. He was all those things. But at this point, like you said, the most important thing to the Tribal Chief is that title, is that championship. And that's how they started it, right? He needed that championship to feed the family. They've put so much weight on the Tribal Chief depending on that championship. Do you self-destruct Roman if he loses it? Like, do you destroy two things at once? Have you built it too big? Is this an economic bubble of Roman? Is the bubble going to burst? If Roman loses the title, can he still call himself the Tribal Chief? Right? If the next champion can't be Roman, then you fucked the title. Because now, no matter who has it next, for how little they're going to have it, you can't put it on another guy to have it for another 4 years. That won't happen. So now you're always going to have a lesser than. So you have to put the title on someone whose moment is bigger than the reign, right? The moment of winning needs to be bigger than the actual title reign, because for Roman, it's not about the moment, it's about the reign, right? But does he become lesser than for not having it? If he loses it, let's say to LA Knight next week, can Punk go to him and say, I still want to face you at WrestleMania in the main event, right? Theoretically, the title's going to mean less anyways because it's on someone who's just not Roman, right?
Yeah.
And so does Roman lose his luster if he's not the champion? And can you still say, I want to fight you? Does it mean as much to beat Roman anymore? You know what I mean? Like, I think over time we'll say, yes. If he were to lose, I think he has to disappear for like a year.
Unless he's willing to do the redemption work on TV, right? Like, prove that he can still earn the money without the title. Prove he can still have that. It would take a lot of character work, a lot of time on TV. So I think you're right from a, an outside looking in and an inside looking out perspective. This is Roman winding down, right?
It has to be,
we're
right?
kind of all agreeing, right? So if he loses, he's gone. And
he's got to be. Like, I think he's got to go into a Cena era after that.
Yeah, which I don't necessarily like that because this has been so much fun. When you were going on about Roman losing the steam since SummerSlam, I think it's because Jay took it with him, right? Like that.
Yeah. Yep.
SummerSlam lifted Jay up to that next level. That, like, when Jay was wrestling Seth the other week, if he won, we all believe it.
Mm-hmm.
We're all supporting it because it works. But that doesn't happen without Roman and that title. I think the only one not to benefit from losing to Roman has been Drew. And, gotta throw that out there. But Sammy did, if Sammy goes out and beats Seth tomorrow for that title, you believe it, and Jay the same way. So I don't know how many more of those are left, though, how many more of those are left. And I just don't think there are.
Do you feel like maybe what's happening is with the situation now where they're kind of putting Solo and Jay against each other, that they're trying to capture lightning in a bottle again like they did with Jay? Like, we're going to try and do this again because we're in a holding pattern. We got to find something that works. Oh, that worked before. Let's do that again.
It's tough.
Maybe.
I think Jay is just magic, man. I think he was able to tap into something that I don't want to say Jimmy doesn't have, because I think he does, but there's something really, really fucking crisp about Jay. Something really crisp about him. So I don't know if Jimmy just hasn't had those opportunities. I just don't know if it can happen with him too. It's a lot to ask, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Drew's the only one who didn't become a bigger star after losing. When you look at the main event scene with Kevin and Sammy, Jay, Cody, these and LA Knight, even still, he's been able to maintain that steam. They were all bigger on the other side.
Logan
Drew
Paul.
Logan Paul. Drew McIntyre's the only dude who's become a wet whoopee cushion, and not like a full whoopee cushion that you can use really well, but it's just like wet, so it's hard to blow up. They stay really tight together, so you have to kind of pull it apart to blow into it to fill up the whoopee cushion. But if it's wet, it's harder to get the air into it, so it's almost like a useless fart machine.
Useless
That was my nickname in high school.
No. What was that, Clump?
That was my nickname in high school.
Yeah. And then Justin Time says nobody will ever have a reign the length of Roman's current one. The day he loses the title, he really just stays on the same level he is now. And that's what I'm saying. I feel like that when he loses, we're talking about equal to or lesser than. We're not talking about a bigger Roman. And I feel like it's because we've built him so big. I feel like if he lost it this past Mania, that you could do a program with him and Punk, because Punk was an asshole that basically almost destroyed his entire career. And then Roman went on to become the tribal chief, right? He derailed Roman's entire career. So you could have this animosity between the two of them where Punk's like, hey, yeah, I've come to prove what I said beforehand. And Roman being like, I don't know if you just saw me make history for the last several years, but no, I don't have anything to prove to you. You know what I mean? So I think that story could be told without the title. At this point, like with the title, I don't think that it makes it. I mean, I guess everything's bigger, but I'm saying, like, I feel like no matter what happens when Roman loses, he has to disappear for a year so he doesn't become lesser than. He remains equal to, and then goes on to come back once a year for his WrestleMania. You know what I mean?
So not that I completely want it this way.
I
was gonna say solid song. Not
tell
my.
Me why. Go ahead.
What's that?
Tell me why.
Let's say what if Randy wins at Rumble?
Mm-hmm.
Is there value in Roman losing again at Mania so Cody can beat Randy at Mania the following year? Or do you have Cody win at SummerSlam? Because Cody's got to, if Cody wins, he has to win at Mania, right? Like that, he has to get the biggest moment. He can't do a SummerSlam moment. It has to be at Mania.
Does it have to be at Mania, or could it be at the Garden? Because they took the title from his daddy at the Garden.
Honestly, maybe Chicago. And whatever they want to put in Chicago. If they put SummerSlam in Chicago next year, do it there. But I think for Cody to get the pop he deserves at that title, ever since I heard him talk about Randy in that horrific promo before SummerSlam, that's where it started to click to me. I think him beating Randy for the title makes the most sense because there's actually a story to tell. Not just Cody's story, but a full story. And I think him beating Randy for the title makes the most sense. So if Randy can take it off of Roman, you don't have to worry about building the next superstar off the defeat of Roman. You now have Randy holding it, and then that's where Cody gets it from.
Legacy.
Yeah. Because that's a good point. Because what we just said, whoever has the title after Roman is just not Roman, except if you're already on Roman's level, like a Randy.
Yep.
Because you cannot hurt
no offense
Randy.
to Cena. I love everything Cena's done, but Cena's played out, right? Like Cena's essence right now is played out in the Roman sphere, right? But he could come back in the Randy sphere, but Cena can't do it because he's already come back during it, and it just doesn't work on Roman's level. But Randy could. Yeah, I honestly think that's the best way to treat Cody is to get it to Randy and then tell a real fucking story.
Yeah, because Cody doesn't have to beat Roman.
Correct. He has to win the title.
Yes.
That was my problem this past Mania. Cody's story doesn't make more sense than Roman's, but Cody's story with Randy makes so much more sense than anything with Roman ever would.
That's true.
That's why I don't fantasy book, bro. I'm really good at it.
Oh, no, man. That makes a lot of sense. Because here's the other deal. When you think about, too, because who broke the streak? Who had the streak in his pants? Brock Lesnar. And a lot of people say that was wasted. But Brock Lesnar's gone on for another fucking 10 years with that. 100% of the time after Brock Lesnar has been in any match since he broke the streak, it
They
was,
mention it.
I don't know, man, they might fucking give it to Brock.
Brock's going to win. Yep. The very first thing you say is Brock's going to win. Yep.
Every time. And
Every
no
time.
matter how many times it gets to the point where it's like, well, Brock cannot win this match for XYZ, it's always like, but it's fucking Brock and he can win. He can win any of them because he becomes unbeatable at that point. Or if he can beat the unbeatable, then any given Friday, right? He could take that spot,
Yeah.
and no one's gonna blink. No one's gonna be like, how could this happen? You go, because it's fucking Brock, dude.
Yeah.
If Randy is as healthy as he says he is and looks, he says he's got 10 more years left. You could build another 10 of beating Roman's back with Randy and still spread the love to the Cody story, to the Punk and Roman concept, because I think that's the big money match, really. Punk and Roman. I don't like Punk and I'm not interested in what he's doing. I'd be curious to watch how Roman would work with Punk. You know what I mean? Like, that's enticing to me as a not Punk fan. So for me, it's kind of like, who do you want to see these guys go with? I think Randy actually is the safest one. He is the Brock Lesnar to Roman's Undertaker there. You can't, because you can't tarnish him. He's built.
Punk.
He's the made man.
Punk takes the belt off Seth. Then it's Punk, Roman, and Mania, with Roman becoming a face again, because I don't think Punk's going to work as a face. I think Punk's going to have to work as a heel, or this weird middle ground, which he kind of works because Punk is so bipolar within the community. Then have Roman come in, like have him and Seth have this moment together where they're kind of back at it, and then have Roman come in for Punk.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Cody wins the Rumble. Roman wins Elimination Chamber.
Well, I mean, you can even do that in reverse. You can still have Roman come win the Rumble. I don't know how much I feel Cody winning back-to-back Rumbles.
Well, I think real quick,
Like
I don't think Roman losing to Randy. I don't think we're booking him going forward. I just don't see it. I don't see a point in, like, I get what you're saying. Again, one of the biggest reasons why I hate CM Punk is because the way he tarnished Roman's, ability to become a star early on and put the entire universe on the opposite side of Roman. So there's definitely a story to tell there.
Yeah.
But I don't see the value in jumping there.
Yeah.
So maybe you wait, just like Roman's schedule now. Again, he wasn't on TV since SummerSlam. He hasn't needed to be. But going forward, yeah, I guess you bring him in, just like this, a month before Rumble, here we go. And then Rumble to Mania, there you go. So,
Right.
but my biggest thing would just be if you get the title off and give it to Randy, because honestly, like we talked about on episode 1, I don't even know if CM Punk fucking is healthy after the Dominic match.
Yeah,
he's got to stay not injured.
I'm not saying we got to rush to the Punk story. I do think that that's a story to tell before Punk wraps it up, because I think Punk's on his last contract.
Yeah.
I think whatever his time is, he's done, because he knows that this is it. Which I also love when Seth brought that up.
Well, for a myriad of reasons.
Yeah, this is it for a number of good reasons. So I do think that you would want to do that if all participants willing and able, you'd want to try and squeeze that in to their careers before they're out. And I don't see a world where Triple H doesn't go, yeah, Roman's going over, dude. Like, I don't see a world where he's like, wouldn't it be good though if Punk was proven to be right all along about you? Like, that's also one of the reasons why I want it to come down to Roman and Punk towards the end there, because there's no way that anybody tells Roman he's laying down for Punk. Like, I just don't fucking see it. But
and that's what kind of bugs me out about the Seth Rollins booking. People are really wanting. Clump, you just said it too, right? Punk beats Rollins. Fuck, man, he's gonna look up at the lights for CM Punk. That guy loves doing business, I guess.
I feel like you do a cash in. I feel like if the title's got to get to Punk, a cash in's got to happen to get it off of Seth, and that person gets it to Punk. But I don't even think Punk should be getting the title. Here's the other deal. I think that title is hurt more by Punk having it, and not ever, but now that title already means nothing. Seth's title means jack shit still because it's just a title that Seth won in a tournament because he's not as good as Roman. And it's still that until, again, the moment has to be bigger than the reign. His reign means the opposite of Roman's. His reign means nothing. And his moment was nothing. You have to give meaning to that. So you have to have somebody cry about winning it. You need a Jey Uso who's never held a single title his entire career. A Sami Zayn who's never held who would never be a world champion. He is the actual thing that Punk thought he always was, right? The guy that was never going to make it. And he's living it in this many years down. You like those kinds of guys are the ones you're going to have to take the title for it to suddenly mean something because they worship it. This is my proof. Like how Dana Brooke made the 24/7 title mean something for a minute there. Because she had that whole post about I've never held a title for WWE and I'm crying. I have this title. And we're all like, it's a 24/7 title. And you go, yeah, but it means so much to her that now you go, that's kind of cool. You know?
Yeah.
I don't think arguably it means a lot to Punk, but I think
exactly
Punk could add. Well, no, I think Punk could add value to it to a large group of people because of you gotta go with that pop. I don't like Punk. I don't want him in the company, nor do I want him to hold belt. But I think it would be a way to add weight in a weird way, like just because of who he is, the name value of him. Because the people outside of wrestling who kind of follow him or who got away from it will be like, "Oh, Punk has a belt."
But I think what you're missing is that Punk was always the guy to hold the title that wasn't the main title. When Punk was a world champion, it's when like Triple H was the WWE champion. You know what I mean? Like he always held the one that wasn't in the main event. You had the title on Punk and even talked about it. You know, he stayed kayfabe, which is funny. Randy Orton knocked him out and he wakes up and the title's been put in a match without him. Well, they just didn't want him in the match because fuck it. You know what I mean? Like it was, if you give Punk another one of those titles, it's just not the title. It's a disservice to the title and to Punk. Like I hear you. And I think that, yeah, a lot of people will be like, oh, how great is it? He's the champion, but he's that champion. He's not the champion. He's still the guy who's the champion in the middle of the show. Not the guy who's closing out the show. Like Triple H or The Rock and Cena, I think went on after Punk title match. You know what I mean? Those kinds of things were happening.
So this is something that, because when Clump said it, it made a lot of sense to me, right? Like there's a section of the fan base that's going to be completely behind it. The problem is I don't see it because I don't see it in CM Punk, right? I don't see the way he delivers things or the matches that I've seen past and present that warrants that type of support. Again, he's able to deliver words on a microphone without messing up. It's incredibly hard to do, you know, and he never really has to think about what he's saying. He's very fluid when he talks. But like Marcia said, from promo one, he's not explaining even in minute detail how he's changed. Or the only thing he's telling us is his overall objective, which is just one sentence: I want to main event WrestleMania. So even with what he said to Seth on Monday, I know we're not on Monday yet, but even what he said there, it's like, I don't believe you because I haven't seen that. So for everyone who has and holds on to that shit was 10, 12 years ago. I'm sorry, but if my favorite football player comes back after a 10-year layoff, guess what? He's not going to be the same. Basketball, baseball, otherwise. This is athletic competition. You're not that guy. Plus, you just played somewhere else and showed me that you suck. You're not the best in the world. So that's kind of like my issue with all of it is like, I'm down for it. Again, he's on my TV shows now, right? Like I don't have to go to a channel. He shows up on my channels. So I'll give it the opportunity because it's on my TV. I'm not in yet. I'll watch. I'll keep watching. I did it with Cody, right? My favorite thing Cody's done was the tag with Jey Uso. You see this complete different sense of who Cody is. And now I see this character shifting in a different way. No, but hey, look, my story, it's still on. But guess what? This is the way we're going. Okay. He fucked up with the Randy promo. Without getting too off track, like there's there's the ability to get us who aren't gonna believe him as champion to that level. Punk has to do that work as well. Because to at least my perspective, half that building should still be fucking booing him. But they chant his name. Not for long, but they chant his name.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. And I do think, like Clump said, I think we get to a place where he's the heel there. I don't know. I like that. That was interesting. And I think of everything that I've been talking, because I went on a long conversation with some people over the weekend where I was like, because I even told them, I was like, why does Roman have to win? Like, because his character doesn't mean anything without it. And I was like, but isn't that a detriment to the Roman character? And isn't that a detriment to the title? And it was like this, we kind of were going around in circles a little bit where they're like, he's too important to lose. He's too big to fail. Right. And I was like, but then what's his value afterwards? And I was like, what you're telling me is that he's here and has to remain there. But what you're also telling me is that the second that goes away, the floor falls out beneath him and he's worthless. Yeah. Like, that to me sounds like a bad thing. We've built him too big that he becomes valueless if one little thing changes. And that to me seems like, is he not that great then? Right? Is it a glass house? Is it the house of cards kind of concept? And I was like, which may be part of the story. Maybe he does crumble and fall apart. But as it stands right now, how is this? Because to me, this character is strong enough to stand on its own. But it's kind of not going anywhere. So
yeah, because of the weighted value.
Yeah, like, and I think it's like you said. I think Randy kind of answers the questions to all those sides.
Yep.
He's a fucking legend killer. He's untouchable. He doesn't need his title reign to be bigger than Roman's for it to be actually incredibly important. Because isn't he at 15? Wouldn't that tie him?
14 still. I think he's at 14 still.
Randy Orton title reigns. This is 10. That's not fucking right.
We got a few more on us.
Yeah. Let's see. Orton's recognized as having 14. So you're right. So I put him at 15, which puts him one away from Cena. So then he could also take it off of Punk. Unite them again. I'm just kidding. But yeah, that would put him right there behind Cena, and I think that's not a bad deal, you know. And I think he's believable, and I think Randy's the answer, dude. Let's see. I'm gonna write a note here. Little Punk. All right, and I'm gonna say cheers, cheers to Fans First Sports Network as we continue on down the road of Raw. Carmelo Hayes defeated Grayson Waller for the United States Championship Tournament match.
SmackDown. You said Raw. SmackDown. As we continue down the road of Raw. SmackDown, man. We're talking SmackDown.
It's definitely SmackDown we're talking about. Yeah. Here's the deal, dude. I was out really late drinking last night, and I have not gotten back on track. So I'm having a little hair of the dog to get me back on track. And all it's done,
episode 1.
Derailed me more, dude. Thank God it's episode 1. If this was like 4 years in, this would be embarrassing.
True story.
But it's episode 1, so it's like everyone's got a terrible episode 1. You know?
Yeah. Dude, I got a whole catalog of terrible wrestling takes. It's at twtakes.podcast.com.
I heard of it.
Yeah.
You sent me like a whole roll of toilet paper. Carmelo Hayes defeated Waller. We were talking about this last week, dude. We talked about this. Melo's got to go the whole way.
It's got to.
You got to make
something nice, man. Yeah.
Now that means also because the following thing being that Kevin Owens defeated Austin Theory, so now Waller and Theory are out. They have to take Kevin Owens out of the tournament, right? They have to cost him. The only problem is I feel like so much of what Logan Paul has been saying has been shit talk to Kevin Owens. So you feel like they got to go head to head at some point. But if you're going to make Carmelo Hayes, do you do the thing you ought not do and have Kevin cost Logan his title? So Melo goes on.
And Kevin Owens and Logan Paul have a WrestleMania match.
They can have a match at WrestleMania, and then Carmelo gets kind of stuck with the bill of good enough but needed help. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you want to do that to Melo on his first.
No, I think his next turn, like his next match out with the title is go ahead, kid, prove yourself. Just like he had to do with the North American title and and the NXT championship. So
Yes.
I do think it's setting up more that way. I hear what you're saying as far as him winning, but that ends with him having his next match being a Carmelo Hayes match. You know what I mean?
Yes. It sets you off on a bad slump. And that is my point. And it's not, but like Ed, yes, he will get us there on the other side of his title run. Like Ricochet was an incredible IC champion. Everyone's kind of thought it was weird at the time, but as every match happened, you go, yeah, this fucking dude's a badass. And now where is he?
Right.
Oh,
He's going to be challenging Carmelo Hayes when he wins.
Dude, you know that fucking match is coming.
Oh, I know. I know.
It's going to be fucking badass.
Yep.
What the fuck is happening with Clump? Do you see what he's doing here, dude?
But yeah, if you have Theory and Waller cost Kevin Owens,
yeah,
at least that gets Carmelo to the next round though, because there's still one more round after that. It would be the winner of Lashley and Santos that he'd have to face.
Yeah.
Oh, but you're saying if Hayes takes on Paul. That's what it was. That's right.
Yeah, if Hayes takes... I thought we were going to get all the way to Mania with Carmelo and Logan, and that's just not going to be the case, like you said. I think it's going to be Logan. But at the same time, do you want Logan Paul going into WrestleMania without the U.S. title?
Yes. Yes, I do. Yeah. Yeah. No, his character's bigger than it. His persona is just bigger than it. It just never needs it. His character never needs the title.
But that's exactly the reason why you'd give him the title if you're a company trying to get eyes on a product.
Yes. Yeah,
because he'll show up at all sorts of things, dude. I'm going to be at WrestleMania, and I'm a fucking champion. People go,
"What's the first thing he did with the title?" First thing he did with the title is let other people wrestle it. He let other people wrestle for the
chance a shower in
to
it,
fight
dude.
him,
you
not wrestle
them
with
abs going down to the wet ass title.
Yes,
you had that wat.
Yeah. That wet end title. Hey, Cardi B has said she wants to wrestle. I'm sure she can remix it. You know.
She also said she wanted to represent New York in Congress.
I mean, I've been to New York, and I'll tell you, she'd do fine.
That's.
So do you think that? I don't know. I'm interested in this tournament because I have a hard time really seeing how that's truly going to play out. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that the move is make Carmelo here, but you're obviously having to get to Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens. It's a embarrassment of riches. You got too many good directions to go with this, and it's tough. So I'll be excited to see what they land on.
You just got to hope that it's not going to be manias of past where they leave a title off. So if Carmelo Hayes wins and you have a Kevin Owens, Logan Paul situation heading to Mania, that doesn't take Carmelo off of Mania, you know?
That's kind of what I was going at, too. If you take the title off of Logan Paul, that title might not be at Mania.
Yeah. Yeah.
As we get into the next thing, that damage control video, that was fucking sick, dude. I thought that was awesome.
Did I text you when that happened?
No.
I think I did.
You did not.
I was so thrown off because it wasn't the direction that was going on TV. And then I loved every fucking second of it. It's the best thing that damage control has ever done.
It was amazing. The way that Dakota or the Bailey says that Dakota was talking like a mastermind and the camera like zoomed in on Dakota when they're saying mastermind. It gives you still that little hint that Dakota's running things, whether anybody here realizes that she's the master manipulator here. You know what I mean? And is this a sign of Bailey being incredibly comfortable in a situation where she should not? Like, I don't know that it derails where they're going, but I do wonder if Charlotte's knee injury, putting her out 9 months, has shifted the direction of this entirely. Because I felt like this was moving along a lot faster, and this felt like a couple steps backwards, but not in a bad way. Like you said, in the best possible way. Slow down. Yeah, slow down a little bit. But I don't know. At this point, do you think Bailey stays in damage control till Mania? And if yes, do you think that she was not going to stay there till Mania before Charlotte's knee?
I don't think she was going to stay there till Mania. I think it would have been like Mania would have been like a blow off match of her versus damage control as a base. But now, who knows?
No.
Yeah, I think that's where it was trending. We all saw it writing on the wall since right before Survivor Series that it was we were getting the glimpse, the way Triple H likes to show you exactly what's happening in these small details, right? So, I mean, hey, Charlotte, rest up, get ready, heal yourself. It's the best thing that has happened to the women's storytelling, and at least what's going to happen for Damage Control. They're going to come out of this with more credibility than they've had since SummerSlam when they debuted.
Yeah.
For the intensity of that fucking promo, and for Bayley to be, like you said, the spokeswoman of it, reintroducing the Kabuki Warriors. Like,
Yes.
I was getting, not that I was getting chills, but I was getting so amped up for what was happening. I was like, holy shit, this is something. And it's right off the heels. Again, the way people flip-flop stories on TV, people as in whatever company, like, all you have to do is get us to buy in. And it looked completely different from the start. I'm like, wait a second, why are they unified? This doesn't make any sense. And then I just stopped thinking, started listening, and go, fuck it, hey, let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah, I loved the fucking reintroduction of the Kabuki Warriors. I told you before, Kabuki Warriors, I thought was incredible together. And to be honest, the stuff that Kairi Sane's been doing as the Pirate again has been, to me, completely lackluster and not as fitting as the Kabuki Warriors to me.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, I thought that video was badass. Kabuki Warriors, Io, Dakota as singular units, Bayley trying to like, I'm running ship, and Dakota just kind of smiling and nodding along in a way that you're just like, huh. Fucking great. And then you got Kabuki Warriors defeating Zelina and Michin.
Kabuki Warriors?
Kombucha.
Yeah, enough said. I mean, they are here for a reason. And if they are to fill the story that Charlotte can't tell anymore, or a new direction because Charlotte's not around, then hey, this is where we're headed. And with a specific title change on Raw, maybe this is where this ends up.
Right? The women's division has always been tormented by the tagness of it all. Random pairings without reason or cause or anything like that. And Zelina and Michin definitely feel that way to me, especially given that Michin was part of the club and Zelina was part of LWO. Like, they're in competing factions theoretically,
Right?
but then that kind of wasn't explained well either. I mean, victim circumstances for sure in a bunch of the cases, but just in time does say that NXT is still telling the Trick and Mello story. That's the only thing keeping Mello from going all the way in on the tournament.
It's possible.
It's possible. I was just watching NXT before we went live, and I think that's been going on a little too long too. That's stretched out. I'm ready for that to move on to whatever that's going to be next. I think this is the move. I think you put the title on Carmelo, get him out of NXT, and just let Trick do NXT.
Yeah, I honestly not making the whole figure be Lexus King. Like, just make it be Lexus King and call it a day.
Yeah.
Like you said, the story's going on too long. It was the right move to make, and they just didn't do it. So now there's no real depth to what's going on. Like, they tried to pin it on Ilya, it just didn't make sense. So yeah, that Trick Mello story needs to end, and kind of let Trick do his thing.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see. And then Justin said either Sasha's coming back and that's going to escalate Bayley getting kicked out, or it happens soon to get Bayley versus Io at Mania for the title. Yeah, I'm actually really excited for this Mania to see what comes of it, especially for the women's division specifically. And I did wonder that with Charlotte getting injured, does that entice someone like a Sasha to come back? Or does that entice WWE to get a little more aggressive with trying to woo her back? I don't know. Woo her back, I said.
Is she healed?
Sasha? Yeah, she's back. She's ready. LA Knight and Randy Orton backstage. I loved it, dude. I think all this LA Knight around Randy stuff, the stuff he did with Cena, I think it just proves without a shadow of a doubt that that's where LA Knight belongs.
Yeah.
In those stories around those people on that level.
Yeah, he doesn't look out of place. I mean, he'll tell you he's been trying to be at this moment for 20 plus years. And the fact that he's there and and holding his own in the aura, in the essence, just proves that,
Yeah.
There's so many people who get that opportunity and you see them thinking too much and not doing. LA Knights nailed it.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think we do with LA Knight for Mania? Or is it too early to call?
What you got?
I think it's too early to call. I think like he could do a lot. I don't know. I feel like Logan Paul wouldn't be bad.
See, I've heard some other people bring that up too, and even about the U.S. title, that if Logan Paul keeps the U.S. title, you get a LA Knight win the U.S. title off Logan Paul Mania. And yeah, I could see that. But like you said before, Bishop, the story's just not going there.
Yeah.
It's just not where we're at. We'd have to like completely pivot. And I think that when you have LA Knight around Randy Orton and the Bloodline and such, pivoting him to the U.S. title seems like such a downstep. I don't know if you do that.
Well, you said
would
that
be a great
about
match.
Sammy. Yeah, well, yeah, for sure. You said that about Sammy and the tag titles, right? And I think what the tag titles did at that point is that it kept Sammy at that level, right? Like we saw LA Knight not be on Survivor Series, so he wasn't exposed when he didn't have to be, right? And when he came out the Friday afterwards with Randy, it was like, oh, that pop was fucking incredible. So to keep his level up here, they're keeping his exposure minimum. But what would it take besides the main title? I have no clue. I have no. That's one fantasy book I can't even pull out of my ass right now. It just doesn't. It doesn't line up because he's so up there. Do you put him in a one-on-one? On a pole match. You know what I mean? Like what? Who else has the essence that LA Knight has right now? And really, it's just nobody.
Yeah.
I wonder if we actually get to an Orton versus LA Knight at Mania as a grudge match. I wonder if this dissolves a little bit, but at that point, Randy Orton going heel again? I don't see it. Not right now.
Well, what I like about that idea is that between LA Knight and Randy Orton, they are keeping the tension pretty thick. It's like, hey, we agree on, enemy of my enemy is my friend or whatever. So, like, it's one of those things like, we're not boys, but we both know who the target is here. So, I do like how they're playing that. But yeah, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. And I think it has to do with, just the lack of stars and lack of time on SmackDown. I just don't think there's enough room to really give LA Knight a chance to tell another story.
I agree with that.
Because who would he tell it with? There's just not enough time to build the next guy for him to tell that story.
Well, I mean, that brings us to how SmackDown ended. Obviously Randy had his match with Jimmy Uso. Roman gets involved, and here the flash return of AJ Styles, jacked as fuck. Dude is double jacked. He is jacked off. AJ is so big. He's girthy, dude. His vascular arms, lumpy, curvy, voluptuous arms. Dude, jacked.
I think Randy was lifting, and then AJ goes, I'll take those. So everything Randy lifted up, before he put it down, he gave it to AJ. AJ lifted up and then put it down. I think that's what happened.
They just were going like a rowboat with the weight. They're so fucking big, dude. So now then they built the tension, right? So LA Knight goes to talk some shit to Roman, and he pushes AJ aside, and he's like, fuck you, dude. Fuck you. Fuck you. And then AJ goes like, oh, okay, that's cool. I'm just going to kick you in the fucking mouth now and then leave. So they've clearly built something for LA Knight to do now with AJ. I don't think that carries all the way to Mania, but it could.
Do they have history?
I think they have a little bit of history from TNA.
They definitely were both in TNA, but I don't think they were in TNA at the same time.
I'm looking it up.
That's what I was racking my brain about, is when AJ left TNA was when he went to Japan. When Eli Drake popped up in TNA. That couldn't have been, well, I don't know. That was a while back. Yeah, let's look that up. Let's ask Jeeves on that one. I also wonder if they don't have history, if that's why they might want to work together. If AJ's coming back and he's all like, yo, I missed him. We kept, and I want to get to it,
right.
AJ Styles, TNA. I mean, I think they're gonna fucking do amazing together. Both of them can talk fucking crazy. Let's see, WCW, Independent, Ring of Honor, 2006, TNA, 2002 to 2014, and then again in 2022. Doesn't make sense. Oh, that's the name TNA. Let's see. He was the NWA champion 2002, 2004. X Men champion 27. And then various alliances in 2009, 2010, 2012, 2014. So he was there for fucking while, dude. 2002 to 2014.
He wrestled in their first match.
What?
He wrestled in TNA's first match.
AJ did?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible. LA Knight. Let's see what year he started in TNA.
Justin should know this. You know what I mean?
I know.
He always knows stuff like this.
He's being a dick.
Right.
2015 to 2019. So he missed him by a year.
Boo.
So, yeah,
Got it.
they just missed. And so I wouldn't be surprised if AJ's coming back and they're like, hey, who do you want to work with? And he goes, that guy. Because I wanted to work with him last time I left.
So they were in a triple threat on the UK tour against Austin Theory for the US title, and AJ was in the SummerSlam Battle Royal. That is the only 2 times they have touched gloves. The only 2 times they have mixed mittens.
They drank each other's sweat.
That's another company.
Oh, yeah. Justin says, really feels like WWE only put LA Knight in that match with Roman to try and capitalize on his popularity. They definitely handled Knight backwards. Should have started him with the U.S. title. I can't argue with that. They're definitely trying to capitalize on his popularity.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a bad take. They were just 2 big baby faces at the time, you know, between
People
Ray and
wanted
LA
him.
Knight.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's hard to say, but AJ's looking awesome, and AJ's just started a program with Roman and LA Knight. I'm just wondering, I would think that puts AJ with Roman at Rumble. I don't know. I mean,
I think that Randy match is going to be locked in, though.
For Rumble?
Yeah, because that's what Randy called him out for Rumble.
Huh.
And what they've been telling about AJ's return is that Solo is the mark, because Solo's the one that put him out with that splash off the, entertainment boxes in the back or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what they've been telling, at least through promos, that it was Solo. That Solo's the target.
So this actually works in a sense where if you've built now a world where Roman has to defend his title against a Randy Orton, and Randy Orton has an AJ Styles and an LA Knight who fucking hate the bloodline, you could have and a J wrapped up with Drew on the other channel. That could be the cracks in the bloodline that allows it to be a one-on-one, right? Solo and Jimmy never make it to the ring because AJ comes running out to get to Solo. You know what I mean? And then obviously LA Knight can come out and come for Jimmy because he cost him his match too. And now you can actually have the numbers evened out.
But didn't AJ kick LA Knight in the dick or something like that?
Yeah. They don't have to be like helping each other. They could both be attacking the same person and also attacking each other. You know what I mean? Like if you have 4 dudes in a fucking Tasmanian devil like skirmish over here, that's enough to also distract Roman what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that kind of even to me builds more that you could take the title off Roman and give it to Randy, because now you have AJ back, Randy, LA Knight. Jay's doing his thing. He's not involved over there. Feels a little more even. And we haven't seen, it's been a while since we've seen a match with Roman where he actually won.
Right.
Because it's gotten pretty tiring. Hearing Michael Cole every single time Roman wins saying, if it wasn't for the bloodline, he had him. Okay, well, at a certain point, because there was a while there, especially early on, that Roman was definitively winning on his own a lot.
Yeah.
Choking people out, like
Stack
it's
him
been a
and
while.
smash him. Smash
Stack
him
him,
and
smash
stack
him.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's been a while since we've seen that. It's the same match every time for a while now. So I'm starting to really lean on this Randy concept. Clem, do you think they could wait all the way till Mania to do AJ and LA Knight?
I think they could. I think that'd be a good one to wait for. Like, have it be Solo and for Rumble, and then have Mania be, LA Knight and AJ would be good.
Actually, yeah.
It's just a bummer that the Rumble is so far out in January. It's like the last week.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So like some of this stuff could absolutely build in the Rumble. But it's like 4 weeks away, so you might as well or 5 weeks away. You might as well just do it on TV,
Yeah, maybe. I mean, you could even have it where Jimmy's the only one in the bloodline in the Rumble. Solo has a singles match with AJ. Roman's got a match with Orton, and Jimmy's in the Rumble. And that's where Jimmy and Jay and Drew and LA Knight have their fucking back and forth, which puts Roman in a position where, Jimmy's trying to come out holding his side,
Yeah.
Dude, that might be the fucking liftoff for Jimmy versus Jay at Mania. It's the two of them in the Rumble at the same time. That's fun. That's a good call, dude. That's a good call. I like that. Oh boy. Have to start a fantasy booking show. We're fucking nailing it right now.
We always nail it together. We always nail each other.
Sure do.
Yeah.
But I'm the last one in the centipede. That's all I'm saying.
So you get double shit?
No, I'm the last one.
You're the front. Okay.
No. On the back.
I'm
the last one to connect. I'm the last one to connect.
The one in the back. You just want it all coming out. Let's talk Raw, dude. Let's give a big old cheers to Fans First Sports Network for hanging with us, drinking buddies. I had a cigar last night, Clemp. I was out with friends and I finished my Cuban Monte Cristo.
How was it?
It's pretty good, dude. It was really good. It was crazy. I'd started it like months ago because my grandfather had asked to have a Cuban before he died. He said, I've always wanted to have a Cuban once in my life. I don't know how much time I have left. And I was like, well, Christ, dude, I guess it's on. So I went and I got some Cubans and I went and I had some with him and we didn't finish. And so, we cut it and saved it. And so it's been sitting there in its own little humidor pouch just with ash, right, dude? I mean, I cut it the best I could, but there's ash on the inside. So I was like, man, this thing might just be fucking harsh and rough for the rest of the go on it. But honestly, after like 3 or 4 draws, it was cleared up and it was smooth, even with the ash in there. Like, it was not harsh. I let my buddies try it who were having cigars with me because they'd never had a Cuban and they couldn't believe how there was just no bite to it. And even when it was just been sitting around for like the way it has been, the fact there was no bite to it, like, it's fucking great, dude.
Hell yeah.
We gotta go smoking soon. We gotta share some sticks. We gotta put some sticks in our mouths.
Yes. Oh boy.
Let's see. Just in time before we get into Raw says, honestly would prefer to see the Styles Reigns match at Rumble and save the Orton Reigns match for Elimination Chamber in Perth. I just don't see, I cannot fathom a difference in this. This feels like two sides of the same coin. I don't see a reason to hold off on either one till the other one happens or not. Like, it just feels like you do whichever one you want, whatever order.
Is there a chance that Randy would lose at Rumble and then win at Mania?
I think you could build it up like that.
No.
Because it does that. There's some potential stories there.
Story's there, but it's not the story anybody wants. You can't have Randy get to Mania to take the title off of Roman while Cody has
Right.
to do what?
Right.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
because
Right.
Cody
you
doesn't
can-
really have anything to do.
Maybe that's
Yep.
the meat. Maybe that's the meat. Maybe Randy does win at Royal Rumble. Cody wins back to back, and he goes, "Randy, I'm fucking coming for you."
Exactly.
That
That's
might
what I
be
mean.
it.
That's what I'm saying. You could do a Cody
And
back to
then-
back.
Yeah. And then
Although
you have the whole CM Punk thing inside the Elimination Chamber at Perth. You know, and he could be the number one contender for Seth at Mania from there. You know.
I could see that. I don't know. I was just thinking that. I mean, I keep thinking everyone keeps saying Cody winning back to back, but my gut just tells me that he won't win back to back. That they'll have him win the Elimination Chamber and have whoever else is meant to go on to the next thing to do the Rumble. But you might be right. It might be.
Well, that's the thing. I think this is what's bothering me so much because that's why I asked about Randy at Mania. I think if Randy loses at Royal Rumble, you waste the opportunity for this brilliant idea. You know, it's
Yeah.
going to take a lot to get the Legend Killer to get another shot at the Legend. You know what I mean?
Yes.
He's got to beat the Legend first shot. And if he
Yeah.
doesn't do it at Rumble, then you can't really go back to it until he beats a different Legend.
Yeah.
So that's how I
Like
think if
R-Truth?
it's Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, we'll see how it plays out,
Microphone
man.
check. Sybilis.
Let's see. R-Truth, though, they did start the show with Judgment Day and R-Truth coming out there talking his shit to JD Funko Pop. And they had a fucking Miracle on 34th Street match, dude. Like, tell me what you think. But I have long not been a fan of the Miracle on 34th Street matches. I usually
There's
don't
no
like them at
miracle.
all. There's no miracle. It's corny. They usually do something particularly dumb in it. I think the funniest spot ever was when Cena used to unwrap the presents and find chairs and stuff. But this one I didn't actually have that big of a problem with. I didn't feel like I feel like for as goofy as they could have gotten because it was truth, they stayed goofiness within the characters and not with the props. And so I actually felt like it worked better than most.
Dude, it's to what Clump said on episode 1. JD McDonough's awesome. You know what I mean? Like there's what him and Truth is too, but like this again is where you're not watching McDonough, you're watching Truth, and it's like Truth looks fucking amazing here. Part of that is that JD McDonough is working his ass off.
Yeah.
And the match was incredible. Like it was so fucking, it was one of the best Raw matches we've seen in a while that we weren't expecting, you know. And R-Truth making Damian Priest break in the beginning was amazing. Like it's just we didn't deserve it. Let's put it that way. To your point, you know, Miracle on 40th Street fight, whatever the fuck. We didn't deserve it. It was so awesome.
Do you think he made Priest break? Because here's the thing. I love Truth, but I was watching everyone in the Judgment Day, and they were waiting to break. It didn't look like they even try not to break. So does it count if they're just all like, as soon as you walk out? Exactly. I think the gimmick is now that he makes people break, so everyone wants to break to be part of his gimmick.
I think Damian Priest is doing his best to look as professional as possible. I think I'm giving him more credit than maybe he's going for, but there's something to Damian Priest's character that he doesn't. I don't perceive his character wanting to be made a fool of, so he's trying not to be made a fool of. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
that's how I felt, but he couldn't help it. That's how I felt with this time.
All right. Well, what do you think of McDonough and R-Truth?
It was like you guys said, a good surprise. It was probably the best Miracle on 34th Street match. I liked the way it ended. I thought that was great. I like Truth. Truth's great. Truth in this. The only thing I don't like with Truth is I feel like it takes away from Judgment Day a bit.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. But I do think that we're really building for JD McDonough to be the new Dolph Ziggler.
Yes.
Like, I think
dude can work his ass off.
Yeah. And he's believable, even if he's not the same size as everybody else. He's believable, and people get behind the thing. Dude, people were the crowd was fucking into it. And that was cool to see too. You know, am I missing something here? What's this? Let me see. But moving along, because that was that. Nia Jax and Becky Lynch. Has this helped? Did this promo get anybody else closer to there?
Nope. Couldn't give him more of a fuck.
No, it's still Nia saying that Becky needs it more than Nia does, and it's just not adding any meat to the story.
No, and I mean, to be honest, I feel like that it devalues Becky at this point. If Nia keeps saying you need to beat me, and Becky's all like, "No, but I guess I'll have to." It's like, okay, so then you do. Like, I thought it was
you do need to beat me.
Yeah, because I thought it was bigger of Becky to just say like, "You're not even worth my time. I'm just gonna go be this icon now." So, yeah, I wasn't feeling it, and I just didn't know if it was just me, but I feel like with as big a star and with as amazing as Becky is, she's been really straddled with shit for a year, dude.
Since the Bianca story, yeah.
It's kind of surprising how bad it's gone.
The best thing she's done in over a year was, I mean, she did the Bianca story, which was great, but then after that, she was doing all the terrible tag stuff. The legend stuff was terrible. The only thing she's done in the whole year that I thought was fucking solid was her work in NXT. And that wasn't even a story. It was just her having good matches. Yeah, just her having good matches with younger talent.
It's just matches, yeah.
It's a bummer, dude. She's like too good to be in this position.
Absolutely.
Anybody have anything to say about Gunther and The Miz? The crowd was chanting, "This is awesome," and I don't know why.
Dude, I don't. Yeah, I get it. You're not a fan of Miz, but his 2 matches with Gunther are really fucking good. They're really fucking
they were. It was a solid ass match.
Yeah, this one on Monday. The one I got faked out. I thought they had me on the rope. I was like, yeah. During a Miz match, I was like, oh, yeah.
So stupid. You're stupid.
I get worked, man. I sit down, I get worked, and I love it.
Yeah.
Gunther hits the power bomb the first time, and the Miz kicked out. I was like, what? Skull crushing finale from the second rope. Kick out.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Hurting his hand, making it feel like he's a hurt guy.
Dude, that was the thing too. Telling the story of the hand. That's again shit we don't see in matches, right? They worked the hand the entire match. It was great. It's great.
Yeah.
Shouts to the Miz.
Two things on Justin real quick. He says, completely understand that Becky and Nia have a competent story behind the feud, but really just so much disinterest in the whole thing. And I think also because of how it was handled at the time. You know what I mean? Like, realistically, I think we're all just interested because we were taught pretty early on to not want this. And now they're trying to convince us to want this.
It was a story made out of a fuck up. And
5 years
not a
later.
Great fuck. Yeah.
If you weren't going to do it then, you don't do it now. That's how I feel about it. You know what I mean? Like, there's a statute of limitations on my give a shit. Go ahead, Club.
I'm still stuck on I could go without Nia Jax in this promotion period. Like, their behavior, their actions, their attitude outside of here, their stuff with COVID, like, they can go fuck off. So them getting like a main event spot again, it's just like, and you have other talent that fill the role better than they do.
It's true. Like,
if you're gonna say like this is a powerhouse and a person that doesn't look like your average person, Piper Niven.
Yeah.
If you're gonna say this is a part of the legacy of The Rock, fucking Tamina.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. And look, even where Clump, I agree, but I also tend to not harp on everyone else's personal weaknesses that I agree with you on, in the sense that if you can overcome those takes with absolutely flawlessness on TV, bring it. But Nia's not even doing that. Yeah, that's the thing. She's not even presenting something where it goes, okay, this is what I see on TV. Bang, you know what? Hey, Logan Paul. he has zero. To me, he has zero redeeming qualities outside WWE. When I watch stuff, except for his work ethic, the motherfucker works hard. So shouts.
Yeah.
But like his personality, demeanor, his content, all that stuff. I'm like, dude, I really just not my guy on TV. Hey, Logan Paul, you got it, man. You're a WWE Hall of Famer. He's that fucking good. And because Nia doesn't bring that level to what she's doing, it's a lot easier to just write her off. And that's, same with CM Punk in that essence. Like he's got equity from years ago for half the watchers, but now it's like, dude, you got to bring it. If you don't bring it, I'm just not going to be interested.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. Speaking of Punk, Justin Time said your better bet would have been have Punk win the Rumble. Roman retains at both Rumble and Elimination Chamber, and have Cody win a cross-branded chamber match consisting of all former Roman opponents.
So the best of second place gets to face Roman one more time.
Just get the fuck out of here with it.
Okay.
Thing is I'm gonna have a hard. He got cocky from having that great take earlier. He just thought he was invincible. He's like, I'm just gonna keep shooting.
I don't miss.
Yeah. I mean, I will.
It's not a bad idea. Though. It's not a bad idea. It's just everyone's always lost to Roman, so even who wins, it's like, well, you already lost to him. So
yeah, it's not impossible. Like I don't think the idea is an impossible idea. I don't know. I just want I want something at this point. I want a holy shit, and that just feels like status quo. And status quo right now is very good. They're doing really good. They're batting high right now. They're stoned when they bat. So, see, Clump knows I like all the balls. I'm here for the balls. I went to a baseball game not that long ago, and I wore a hat that just said balls. So I came. I just want something that feels more holy shit than just like, yeah, that's pretty solid. You know what I mean? At this point with Roman, let's do something. Let's window to the wall, Skeet on his draws. Right?
Down these bitches crawl.
Motherfucker.
Clump with the layup. I love it. The old alley-oop.
Goddamn.
Yeah, you know that's actually Clump's entrance. Justin says, I was generally impressed with Miz's performance on Monday, but that just shows everyone how incredible Gunther truly is. I'm just going to let that one lie. It's fair.
That's why Gunther should have won the Rumble last year. Is that holy shit?
I think a lot of people, I think that's why people wanted him to win, because we were all suddenly on the edge of our seats in a moment where he said, this could blow our minds.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Cody won, we all went, that was probably the right move. But we all knew that if Gunther
I don't know who this
won,
we is.
we.
It would have been the right move if Cody took the fucking belt off Roman. Then it'd be like, yeah, that was a good idea. That was good booking.
Well,
but no.
It's because we were disillusioned to believe that was going to happen. We said, this is the right move. This is smart because Cody will win now and it'll make sense to everybody and be perfect for always.
It is perfect for always.
Son of a bitch. Cody Rhodes and Shinsuke Nakamura battling through the arena as Nakamura insulted the American Nightmare Before Christmas. I didn't hate it as much as I probably could have hated it.
Yeah. This could have been shitty, right?
This could have been very shitty. It was actually, to me, pretty reminiscent of Samoa Joe and AJ Styles. Him doing his little, let me read you a little night
thing. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
The night.
Remember when I gave Wendy the double bacon cheeseburger?
Justin says, if Punk never came back, Gunther should have been a shoo-in to the one Rumble this year. I mean, that's possible too. I just don't see. I think people have, before we get too much into Nakamura, because we're still on Gunther. Yes, he's amazing. Yes, he's unbeatable. He's not on Roman's level.
No.
Right.
And I think that if you put him in a match even if he wins the Rumble against Roman, it is very much Roman against the Intercontinental Champion. Even if you did some weird, dumb shit where Gunther has to give up the title to get into the match or some shit, he's still the guy who's the top of the mid card. And he needs to get away from that until he is more than that. He's made the IC title mean more than it has in quite a long time. But that's still below the other titles. So
yeah.
He'll get there, but I just don't think he's there. Do you guys have anything to say about the Nakamura Cody stuff?
I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised on how well it continues to go. Because there's nothing there, right? They're making something out of nothing.
Yeah.
And it still continues to be like, oh, this is fucking good. This is fucking good. So I like it.
Clump, what do you think about this Shinsuke?
It's decent, though. I wonder, like, what is this going to lead to? Where's the blow-off going to be? Is this going to be a blow-off in the Rumble? Or, you know, what's going to happen here? Because I feel like there's a lot of other... Like, I feel like the further you stray Cody away from finishing the story, the less the story fucking matters.
Something about it seems off, right? Like, if it meant so much to him, why is he just fucking around over here?
Exactly.
I 98% agree. The 2% where I disagree is I think his story has elevated him to a main eventer. So the accomplishment of the story isn't as important as having the story. The story, like his story is his title, right? So as long as he has the story to build to, he's always going to feel like a main eventer.
Yes.
So I feel like that's there. So he hasn't quite taken it. But to your point, just like the Roman character, that could wear thin. That could wear thin. So I was thinking about it too when Marsh was talking. When do they have the match? Cody's already said he's going in the Rumble. Are they going to have a match on a pay-per-view or Raw? You know, like where is this going to blow off? Because they're putting some effort behind it with the vignettes and the production for Nakamura and the, you know, with the mist and the heaviness in which Nakamura is coming for Cody. It's a pay-per-view fight feel. Well, the ones coming up, we don't have time for that because if Cody doesn't win the Rumble, or if he does, when's he going to have a one-on-one match with Nakamura without trying to get that title match at Mania? To your point,
yeah. I bet you it's day one, January 1st.
I think they said that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
that's what I would believe that they're going to do the payoff because they're trying to make that episode of Raw a pay-per-view feel.
Yeah,
and so right. I bet you that's one of the things they do there.
I think they did announce that too.
I don't always listen. Katana Chance and Caden Carter capturing the women's tag team titles from Piper Niven and Chelsea Green. I thought this was great, dude. I've been saying for a while in NXT that those women are an incredible team and should be on the main roster as champions. Chelsea Green, I love everything she's tried to do with it, but it's been snake bit from the start. And at a certain point, cut bait, let your character do the talking, get away from the titles, and just let's reestablish these titles as meaning something, and not that Chelsea Green didn't bring anything to it, but she was alone because she had 3 fucking partners in 3 months. And so it started to make the title seem very fucking weird. You know?
Yeah.
So I was really happy with this. What do you think of the match itself?
It was solid. It was solid. And I was surprised because, like I've been saying, that, you know, they went from, you know, 70% character in wrestling and 30%, you know, in the back or commentary work with Chelsea to like 90% commentary and character work and 10% wrestling, and it was becoming off-putting. So them being in the match and losing the titles, I thought was great. I've always loved Kaden and Katana, all the way back to the Casey days. Shouts to us OGs. You know, hopefully it's a good thing. Hopefully it's a good thing because they're kind of like the Creed brothers to me. The more they wrestle, the better they look. The less they wrestle, the not so good they look. So they got to keep going. Just keep them on TV, and we'll see some really fun stuff. I love that they do tandem offense all the time too, which is, you know,
it's top notch. They're one of the best women's tag teams in the world right now.
No, I think it was a decent match. I think the belts need to go on like a more dynamic pair, and I think
it's a good call.
That Yeah, the belt needs some weight behind them, and I think this year's been really rough for them. So this could be good. These are two people we've seen in and out working week after week that look really good. So I think that'll be good. I think seeing more competition for will be awesome. I mean, even having Piper and Niven and Chelsea Green want to take it back, it's competitive, you know.
I think Katana and Kaden have very like infectious personalities too. Like I think the charisma is there. That you just got to give them the reason to be on TV, you know, because I think they'll win over fans.
Yeah, I think we're all still waiting for the women's tag titles to stay where they are, right?
Yeah.
They don't have to shoot them up, and please don't fucking drop them down anymore. But now that they've been getting this TV play this whole time, bring back, Isla and Alba, the Kabuki Warriors doing their thing, whoever Natty feels like tagging with this week. Shotzi and Knox, bring that back together. Like, build this division again and have the matches. Even if building the division is just having matches every week, just a match, just one women's tag match every week keeps the tag division on TV with something to do. And maybe the champs wrestle every other week, right? 1 week on commentary, next week in a match. 1 week on commentary, next week in a match. Now you got six women, 3 tag teams on TV at all times. It's easy enough,
Yeah. Let's see. We don't have too much left going on in Raw. So we got Ivar defeated Tozawa. That was cut from Hulu. Can't imagine that was anything different than I'm imagining it was.
It was a thing.
Yeah. But well, I mean, if you're guessing, that Tozawa looked great and Ivar won, then yeah. I mean, it wasn't. I tell you, the one thing that surprised me, it wasn't all goofy Tozawa. It was. He was serious enough to have a really, really good match without much comedy.
He's incredible. He's
of course, yeah.
His NXT stuff he did, like the Heritage Cup he did a couple weeks ago. It's fucking ridiculous. Drew McIntyre injured Seth Rollins. What the fuck is this? I didn't catch the injury angle of it all, but he says they injured him in a brutal confrontation. Did you catch their injury concept of it? I thought they just had a little dumb fight.
Yeah, I didn't feel it that way. I'm also so disinterested in McIntyre.
The more he talked, the worse he was getting. Because there was a moment there where I was like, okay, this is pretty decent. And then after a certain while, it's all like, you're definitely crying to yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel bad for you, dude. Like, and my favorite part about the irony that he, in character at the very least, doesn't like CM Punk is hysterical to me because I don't see them as largely different. Both of them largely think they deserve more than whatever they're given, no matter what they're given.
Right.
That's kind of like the crux of both their backstories is I deserve everything and you're fucking up if you don't have me on top all the time. And you go, okay, well, what are you bringing to the table? Me. Okay, well, have any ideas? I win all the time and be on top. It's like, what the fuck? And then and then they do it. And at the end of it, you're like, yeah, but I should be better. That should be better when I'm always winning. You're like, what the fuck is this, dude? Like, so yeah, I didn't love it. I'm not excited about this match. I don't feel like having a rematch here. But I guess they need to do something for day one, huh?
That seems to be the crux of it.
Yeah. Uso defeated Kaiser. Santa Claus Kofi Kingston was funny. And then you had Judgment Day defeating the Creed brothers to retain the undisputed WWE tag team titles. I don't know. To me, like the show kind of like wound down.
Yeah, it felt like it started high and then kind of just ended.
Yeah.
It's funny because it felt like it peaked at the women's tag match because of the title change.
It's exactly where it peaked to me.
Yeah, which is really odd. And that's no offense. We just talked about how much we love them, right? So no offense to them, but that's not a spot where you think the show is going to peak. Excuse me. And I think that's where I was working myself up for the Creeds to take the titles off of Judgment Day because the match was moving that fantastic. And we talked about this, I believe, on episode 1. Mick Foley used to say that no matter what, he would always at least wiggle his foot after a match after a 3 count to show that he still had some fight left. And for Julius to kick out after 3, I thought was great. it showed that the next time they wrestle, the fucking Creeds can really pull this one out. So I thought the match built really, really well for the Creeds to win, and they went with Judgment Day this time.
Yeah, I'm always back and forth on the kick out at 3. The 3 then kick out. I think that depending on who's doing it and how often, sometimes it just buries the finish. You know what I mean? Like, I don't remember the move that finished him. Was it the Crossroads thing that Damian Priest does, or the Razor's Edge, or?
I know. I actually don't know. I actually don't remember either.
I don't remember. But like, let's say it was the coup de grace, and then 1, 2, 3 kick out, kind of buries the coup de grace. Like,
Yeah.
Well, it was just a reach up of the arm to show there was a little bit there of recognition to like go, and his shoulder didn't come off the mat either. So it was a reach up to kind of say, I could have kicked out, but I couldn't because I was beat. Yeah. It was just the arm that came up and fell over without lifting his shoulder up. So I hear you. It wasn't a full, and they didn't have the full energy afterwards either. But it was at least the awareness that, like, hey, I'm supposed to
still fighting.
Still fighting.
Yeah. No, that's good then, because I didn't catch like a kick out at 3, but I also like had to watch the end of this show twice because I was like, did it end already, or did I miss something? Like, because it just kind of felt like it ended. But yeah, I mean, overall, I had a really good time with Raw and SmackDown. I mean, SmackDown more than Raw, if I'm honest. But I thought that, we're kind of moving along on stuff. I do think it's interesting. It's another week without Punk. Punk seems to be on a week, off a week. He wasn't on SmackDown or Raw. And then the week prior, he was on all of them. And then the week prior to that, he was on none of them. The week prior, he was on Raw. Like, this kind of every other week Punk thing, if nothing else, I think is probably smart because he does draw eyes,
Yes.
That's about impossible to deny.
That's about it of it.
Yeah, so it's not dumb, but I do think it's interesting because you're like, we have him back full time. We'll see him half the time. Like, okay, well, whatever that means, I suppose. Was there anything else going on in any of it, Clump, that you wanted to make sure we talked about that we didn't hit? Because I kind of skimmed through some stuff.
I'm good.
Yeah. Bishop, anything over there that you thought we missed?
No. Did you happen to catch the end of NXT?
The Ridge spot where
Ridge.
he injures.
Yeah.
I don't love that they're doing that with Ridge because he's got a stigma, and he even came back talking about it, and he actually floundered a lot in his promo. It was really struggling to get through it, and then to be like, and then we'll do a serious injury angle with him where he hurts someone. I just didn't feel like it was
not
a good
cool
move.
to do to that guy.
Yeah. Did you see it, Clump?
I didn't see NXT, but hearing that, I imagine nobody felt worse other than Big E than Ridge about what happened.
Yes.
Yeah. And the way it would, I don't know, we don't have to get too far into it, but the way it looked to me, because again, love getting worked, but also this is such a tough thing to get worked on because like you want to care for these guys.
Yeah.
When I look back on it, I was like, did Dragunov have a fucking seizure before the suplex? Like,
yeah,
because even the way he was sitting in Ridge's arms, it looked like he went limp or some shit. And then Dragunov sold the arm up all crooked and shit for like 4 minutes. It is really alarming. Like, okay, like at some point I get it. Like when Braun Breaker hit Von Wagner in the face with the steps, it was like, who was it? Fuck. That fell out the ring with the seizure and all that a couple months ago. And they like had to come out and say like, no, man, I'm okay.
Yeah, Von Wagner, I thought.
There was one right before. Wagner. It was, but there was one actually before that where they did like the seizure by the steps.
Oh.
I forgot which one. And they had to break kayfabe for it. I think it might have been in the Santos Tony Diaz. I don't know. But anyway, like they had to be like, nah, man, like we're getting somewhere here. But anyway, it's always tough with stuff like that. Like when Paige faked it during the match, it's like there's a level here where like, can you appreciate us for giving a shit about you guys?
Mm-hmm.
Because like they did the Dragunov, they did from the moment until they wheeled him out of the arena. You had to watch the whole way to say like, hey, is this going to change at all? You know, like at least when a football player gets hurt, they put the thumbs up, then they put the thumbs down. It's like, okay, we went from serious situation to this guy says he feels okay to let's move on to the next thing. They never let us know that Dragunov is just a little bit okay. And the fact that they didn't do that, it's like, fuck, man. Like, did we just watch something serious because we've seen that before? Or is this just all the work? Like, leaving that cliffhanger, if that's the question, was this real or not? Like, I think that's a bad job.
Yeah, exactly. That there's a huge point to can you appreciate the fact we give a fuck?
Yeah.
Like, injury angles aren't what they used to be because we've seen too many injuries happen in real time.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like a dude goes through a table and then he's in a fake cast for a couple of months off TV for 3 months. You know, like we watched that dude accidentally break Big E's neck, and like Clump said, he probably feels worse about it than anybody in the world. And
we watched him accidentally break his shins.
Yeah, we watched him blow out his knees.
Yeah, I forgot who it was. It flew over the top rope, and he catches him, and his legs just give out.
Yeah,
it's disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it was in the best taste to do it with him. Like, I don't mind an injury angle, and I thought the Braun Breaker and Von Wagner thing was pretty cool, how it all kind of played out. But yeah, there's a certain point where it's all like, and to be honest, I think part of it is the mark of AEW. They have a lot of fucking injuries that they just work through in a weird, gross way that when we see an injury angle, we're just like, oh, here we go again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's almost like the opposite. We're almost like too sensitive to it at this point. We're not like desensitized by seeing it so much. We're getting too sensitive to it because we're like, guys, we see this and we hate it.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
I wouldn't be shocked to find out some people stopped watching AEW because of the amount of injuries they saw on live TV.
Yeah.
Because every time I tuned in, it was another injury that they showed they didn't care about. It's like, okay, well, if you don't care about them, I'm not going to either, so I'm not going to watch. I don't like watching car crashes because I always think someone's really fucking hurt. You know, there's a big difference there. So you should never question, is this guy okay?
Yeah, not on that level. Not on the level that they've pushed it to. Because now they're like, is this guy medically okay? Versus, oh, he's out. Will he fight back? You know, it's way different.
Yeah, like when Shane jumped off the Hell in a Cell and landed on the table with the crash pads, right? Like, you have to go, fuck, is Shane okay? And then they made sure to show you, like, oh, Shane is okay. Fuck, he's probably can't walk very well tomorrow, but he is okay.
Yeah.
We talked about it with Steve Austin, right? With the neck and stuff like that. So it's just odd. It's just odd when they leave you wondering, is this real or not? Because I want to know if he's okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Producer lady saw Corey Jade for the first time since she's been gone just this afternoon on the thing, and she just goes, so why does everyone sound the same? I was like, yeah, I don't know. And she's all like, she's just kind of, she actually said the line you said to me. She goes, she used to be Avril Lavigne and now she's just everybody else.
Yeah.
And I was all like, yeah, that's what we talked about. But
it's a bummer too, because she's even like doing her makeup to plasticize her face more like a Barbie doll than show her, natural, lighter complexion that helps her stand out from everyone who's super tan. It's one of the appeals of Paige, right? When Paige was au naturel plus, less tan than the rest. It's like, well, you stand out like a motherfucker. And hey, here's you wrestling awesome. And now it's like, oh, well, you look like everyone else. And you also now don't move like everyone else. Yeah, it's really weird, man. Really weird.
A lot of Cora's presentation right now feels like almost like a bootleg Mandy Rose. She doesn't come off as authentic, though. And Mandy came off as authentic. Mandy came off like someone with a chip on their shoulder. Korg is coming off like someone who is trying to take Mandy Rose's place.
Oh, speaking of Mandy Rose, what do you think about Lacey Evans turning into a nasty?
What do you mean?
She's got one of those websites that Mandy does.
Oh, yeah. She's super all the time now. But she's a strong and independent woman.
Yeah.
She's had like several interviews now where she talks about basically how not like fuck WWE, but also like who fuck gets WWE. It's like you're able to do a lot of what you do because you're you were very smart and put in a position by them to be successful. You know what I mean? Like, and you failed.
Oh yeah.
But financially speaking, you were very smart with your finances. You failed at the TV part. But like for her to just seemingly have like no gratitude towards how many chances they gave her and how many times they tried, whether they tried shittily or not, they did. She was front and center a lot. When a lot of it said she wasn't ready. It's just kind of crazy. But yeah, she's doing the nudie thing now, so you can check that out.
It's funny because the clip I saw today was about that. Like, why was I walking a red carpet and all these people looking at me and insecurities and all this shit? And yet the last screenshot I saw of her was damn near trying to deep throat a Red Bull can. It's like, well, you're also showing me you're not wearing panties right now and trying to glam yourself. Like, she's talking about putting on tons of makeup and all this shit. Okay, you're going no makeup on this little Fansly site? I doubt it.
Yeah.
I doubt it. It's such a hypocrite. I hate people who talk that way. Like, you don't have to put one down to raise another. And that was the coolest thing about Mandy Rose. Every talk show she went on to, it was a business thing that didn't make sense anymore. I love those guys. I love my girls. I love all these people. Like, and I know that we could probably do business in the future, but right now this is the best move for me to make. Like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was funny. I was like, oh, you a nasty now, huh?
Who's the nasty now?
So
all right,
funny.
guys, let's do last call. Let's get the hell out of here. Let's close this. Let's close up this shop. We keep a sloppy shop over here.
Yeah.
Clump, you want to tell people where they can find you, i.e. dungeon?
Pretty much nowhere.
Yep. See, in the dungeon and in the shadows. That's where you can find Clump. Bishop.
No place you want to find me.
Yeah.
Rather find you in a dungeon than the bathroom. You can find me at TW Takes Podcast on X/Twitter and twtakes.podcast.com for all audio platforms. And when I'm not doing this show, I might be doing mine. So we'll see what happens.
See what happens. See how it goes, guys. I'm at Ref Marsh. We are at WOTR the show. We are Wrestling on the Rocks. We are the dive bar of the IWC. And you are our drinking buddies. And we'll be back tomorrow night for a brand new episode 1. Guys, that's last call.
Cheers.
Producer Lady here. Thanks for tuning in. Continue to support and buy us a drink by putting the I in subscribe and reviewing our podcast. And cheers to Fans First Sports Network for keeping the dive bar lights on.
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.